back for another week of art. So exciting, I know. Just a side note, we do not have a sketchbook assignment this week. We're going to take a little break, take a little breather, and we're going to only work on a board because it's the most tedious board this week. And before you do that, though, I know a lot of you have not posted your adjective ink board or your color blast board, so make sure you get those done because I really need to see them. I do grade each board as I look at it. They're all worth 10 points, so I'm constantly putting those into my rubric. So make sure you post those. Just a recap, though, before we get on to the new board. You should still have your tracing paper. You should have your realistic pencil face done. You should have your adjective ink board finished. And your color blast. Those 3 should be finished. And then you should have 2 with just your face. And a completely blank board. All right, we are going to learn about an artist who actually uses the new technique that we're going to use for this board. So let's learn about that artist, and then we'll get into making our board.
Today we're looking at the artist George Seurat. George was a French Impressionist painter. Impressionist painters made very small but very thick with paint brushstrokes as they painted. If you were to feel an Impressionist painting, which you should never do, because if you do, you will be grabbed by a museum guard and thrown out on the street. But if you ever were to feel their paintings, they would have so much texture and so much paint. Definitely not smooth. We are going to focus on this painting today. It's called A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of Grande Jatte. George painted it from 1884 to 1886. Why do you think it took so long to paint? Well, here's the size in the Chicago Museum of Art, which is the place it hangs. It is very large, and George painted only by making dots. This type of painting is called Pointillism, and it is the next technique we are going to use for our 4th board. So get ready. And these are the items you'll need for your Pointillism board.
Okay, so like I said, you need your board that just has your face drawn on it and markers. Now, normally when we are in class doing this project, we use paint. And this is a board that we use the realistic colors of your face. So if your hair is dark brown, we would mix a dark brown paint. Or to get your skin color, we would actually mix the paint to make your skin color. Obviously, not everybody is going to have the right markers to make all of those colors. So if you have a basic box of markers, just try to get as close as you can to the real color. So if you have blonde hair, you could use yellow. If you have hazel eyes, you could mix your green and your brown together. Okay, just try to get closest to the exact color. Now, if you have all of these colors, that's great with markers. But if you don't, it's completely understandable. So, Pointillism is just making dots. So that is what we're going to do with our markers today. Okay, and the nice thing is, if you have a pupil here and a black marker, you're basically just going to dot in your pupil. All right. Okay, and you do want to leave a little bit of a gap in between your dots because you want to know that they're dots. All right. Okay. Now we're going to speed things up because I think this is going to take a little while. And like I said, this is the most tedious board. This takes the longest. So here we go. Only making dots. We are not coloring things in. We are just making dots. And there we go. Like I said, guys, this is tedious. This one takes the longest. If you need to take breaks, please do that. I don't want anybody to get carpal tunnel. But I do want you to remember to make sure you add color to your background and try to make it look like the most realistic colors as possible. I tried to do a little bit of shading by making some dark areas and then making lighter areas to make it look a little more like it has some depth. So that's an option too, but you don't have to do that. But you are using dots. Make sure you're using dots and you're not coloring this one in. Just dots. That is what pointillism is. And I'm excited to see what you guys come up with.